Hello everybody, Dusty Skeeto here. So today what I want to talk to you guys about is motorcycle or just in general vehicle maintenance and doing it yourself. I notice there's, like I have some friends that ride, and I know a lot of people take their bikes to the dealership even for stuff as simple as routine maintenance. And I'm not trying to call it here anybody who lives in an apartment complex or a townhome or anywhere where they don't have access to a garage and tools. No one's gonna judge you for not going out to your parking lot at your apartment complex to do a tire change or something. This is purely talking about people whose bikes sit in a garage surrounded by tools and yet still find their way to a dealership to do something as simple as an oil change, pull a tire off, do your brake pads, that kind of thing. So, with that in mind, I see it. There's three critical things that you're stealing from yourself by not doing basic stuff on your own. The first one is money. And I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and say that all dealerships are, I think the term I've heard is stealerships. They're not out to rob you of their money, but they do have to stay in business. And, that means that they charge you for the time, because they have to pay their employees, they have to pay their operating costs, they have to pay for their tools. So they have to charge you for the work that gets done outside of just the parts, which is why instead of looking at $50 for a new set of brake pads, you're looking at $300 for somebody to do your brake pads for you. So that's one of the big ones. And like I said, they're not highway robbers. It's nothing like that. It's just we all have to make money. I wouldn't pay somebody what I get paid to work on my computer. It's just, there's overhead. So, the second thing you rob yourself of is quality control. And this isn't me trying to say that, a mechanic or a dealer is going to do a bad job working on your motorcycle, though we have all heard horror stories. And I've done repairs on my bike that I've later looked at and thought, actually, an actual mechanic probably could have done a better, cleaner install of this part or done this maintenance better than I did. What I'm talking about is more the quality control of the materials that go in. When you take your bike or your car or any vehicle to a Jiffy Lube, let's just say, to get the oil changed because you didn't want to do your own oil changes. Do you know what oil they put in? Do you know exactly what weight of oil they put in? Did you have any input in it beforehand? When you pay the upcharge for synthetic, do you know what brand or anything like that it was? And I'm not going to say that, the brand of oil, it makes a huge difference, but it's something that, some people care about. Also, that way for sure, did they change out the filter? Did they clean up anything down there? Is there a new crush washer on there? What kind of stuff was showing up on my magnetic drain plug this time? So it's that kind of quality control that you get to do, and it also means that, doing it yourself, you get to make a lot more judgments about what parts you put on the bike based on the usage that you're planning on getting out of that bike in the near future. If I'm swapping out the tire on my bike and the tube on my bike, and I know that I'm going to be doing heavy off-roading, I might put a heavier grade of tube in there just to help with pinch flats, so I can run it at a little bit lower pressure. That kind of thing. If you get it done at a dealer and you need a new tube, I'm not saying they're going to give you a bad part, but they're just going to give you the part they give everybody, which may not be ideal for what you need. Let's see. And the third thing, and this is the biggest for me, that you're losing by not doing work yourself, is a very true and real sense of dedication to your machine. And also just that personal touch that comes from doing the work yourself. The thing is when you're working on your bike, let's say you're taking your tire off to do a tire change yourself, you're going to look down there and you're going to see oh, hey, my fork seals are leaking a little bit. Maybe I should replace those. A dealer can do most work on your bike probably just from memory. They can probably autopilot their way through most repair jobs because they do it so much. And because you're down there looking at it and, you're probably not as good as they are because you don't do it all day, every day, you're going to be focused a lot more and you're going to see oh, hey, that's something I should probably take a better look at. So you can see small maintenance issues before they actually turn into a full-blown problem. And that's a huge deal. Also, you gain that thought process of, hey, while I'm in here, I'm going to check this out. You know, you might get a break on an hourly rate from a dealer if they've already got your bike in pieces to just check one last thing. But, you know, let's say you've got your on my bike, you know, you've got the fuel tank off, you got the side panels off, all that jazz, so you can do a valve adjustment. Well, while you've already got all that stuff off, while you're in there, take the extra 5 minutes. You're probably more likely to take the extra 5 minutes and check your spark plugs. You're probably gonna, you know, take the extra minute and a half to just check your air filter really quick, because you're already in the mindset of, I've got the tools out, I've got the bike partially disassembled to some degree or another. Let's just check everything else that can be checked while I'm in here. So you get that chance to catch a lot of stuff and do a lot more maintenance than you would if you weren't doing the work on your bike yourself. And really, the biggest thing that you get out of doing the work yourself on your bike is that sense of attachment to your bike as something more than just a beater machine, or something more than just a weekend toy. You know, when it's a matter of personal pride and satisfaction in doing something right, you'll step back and look at your bike and say, man, you know, my chain is dirty. How long has it been since I've cleaned it? I need to do that now. This is my machine. This is my bike. And you'll take the extra time to really make sure, like, wow, you know, that chain looks like it did when I first put it on there, and that chain's got 5,000 miles on it. Or, you know, you really take the time, you know, wow, you know, my brake pads are looking a little shoddy. I think I want to tighten those up. You know, I think I want to put new ones on there. Or, you know, hey, let's make sure I've checked all of the bolts on here to make sure they're nice and snugged. So, you know, whereas somebody who has the attitude of, you know, well, I let the dealer take care of everything, you know, it's probably going to be more likely to say, well, you know, I'm taking my bike in 1,000 miles for an oil change anyways. I'll just, you know, whatever, it'll hold till then. I can just put that off. And, you know, I can't say I have proof of this as, you know, like any kind of scientific study, but it seems like the person who's constantly looking at their bike saying, you know, maybe I should just check that out just to make sure it's all right, their bike's probably going to fare a bit better, mechanically speaking, or even just in how it runs, because you've taken the time to clean your air filter more often and tighten your chain down to make sure it's, you know, just right. That bike's more likely to run better and be a more reliable machine. And it's all because you took that extra time to put in a little bit of extra effort on the weekend and just make sure that your bike's up to stuff. So that's my take on it. I'd be kind of interested in hearing, you know, from people who both, you know, do their work themselves and people who largely let the dealer just, you know, as a matter of circumstance or for whatever reason. Be interested in hearing just, you know, what your experience with it's been. So, thank you very much. And it's Dusty Skeeto signing off.